Alright, so it's been a month now with the TCL 70 Pro, and there are a few things which I do like, and there are a few things that are kind of, have a lot of ways and a lot of, space to improve. So the first one, the stuff which I do like, so the size of the screen. This is something that I very much like. I think the size of the phone, it's very decent. It's like, pretty decently holding in the hands. Design, it's very nice. Look at this. It totally reminds me of some other premium brands, and I do like the vibe of it and the feel of it. So this is good. And also, the second thing which I do like is that they also have this cover that when you actually put it on, you can use the stylus on the back. So you can just open it and take the stylus out and use the stylus. And this is a pretty cool thing because you also enable the stylus in the settings right here. And this is something which for me was like, okay, this is a cool one. I am not exactly a stylus person, but this stylus is actually impressive. So let me show you how it works. So the stylus is actually nice. I do think it's, doing the job. And even for my encrypted handwriting, it is decent. So this is something that I do like, that you turn on the special modes for the stylus as well. It's actually right here and you actually turn it on and it does work. One of the other things that I do like is that this built-in stand. So that's something that for me was like, okay, I do like it very much. So you do have this, so you can set it like that, right? And have it stand like this. Or you can set it up like that and have a stand however kind of you like to watching your, Netflix series. So have it like this. And I think this is, this is good. Look, boom. Easy, right? I think that's just something good for me was having that already built into that cover. That is a cool thing. So these are the kind of accessories and a little bit of a design. So regarding the screen, that's something that I very much like. So I realized that comparing that to my Samsung, for example, when I use the NXTPAPER, my eyes are actually not that tired after the whole day working with my phone. So that is a very positive plus. So obviously, I saw the whole research about the NXTPAPER 4.0 and the technology, how it works, which is great. But to actually having a feel of it, I'm a person who uses a phone a lot, don't get me wrong, I use it a lot. So having the feeling that, my eyes are actually kind of safer and actually they're not that tired after a whole day use, I do like it very much. And I do like that NXTPAPER button, which, when I press it, it just asks me which mode do I want to change to. And I often, in the evenings, have it on the ink paper mode, which just changes to black and white. And it's much healthier for my eyes. And especially, I went through the laser eye correction eye surgery recently, and this phone is literally a lifesaver. So I think, they should actually just bundle up with, any clinic. But that's very cool. Whoever's, thinking about, going into kind of healthier direction, I do like it. That's my totally honest opinion. And when it comes to the camera, so I see the reasonable. It's a mid-range phone, so there is nothing too top about it when it comes to the phone. There's 50 megapixel plus 8 megapixel on the back and the 30 megapixel on the front. So the photos are okay, or good. I cannot say anything else here. They're not perfect like on a Samsung Galaxy Ultra, for example, but they're very decent for the budget you're having on the phone. So I'm actually very kind of positively surprised by it. The RAM here, it's 8 gig of RAM, plus you can expand it with the virtual RAM. It's working okay. I don't see any kind of issues or lag while using it. It has a decent speed, so yeah, there is nothing against that. So that's something which I very much like. Few things which were at the beginning very, I would say, hard to kind of work with was that, sidebar. That's something that they have as their features, that sidebar. But when I kind of got used to it with that writing assistant and those voice memos, it actually is pretty cool. It is actually pretty cool. When you get used to it, using it on a daily basis, I think that they do the job. When it comes to the book, so this was the one which like I was very kind of, you know, interested to test it out. How does it work for a longer period of time? So they have this built-in option to read books. So for example, when it comes to the books, you have a library of their books, or you can import some of your own. And it can actually change the book into an audiobook. And I was like, this is such a cool feature. And I do like it, but it has a lot of improvements to do, which I'm gonna add slightly at the end. But I think it's a feature that it's pretty cool that, you know, they're actually implementing. So, what else on the positive side? So the size of it, the weight, it's pretty cool, and the battery is like 5,200 milliampere hours battery, which does last a full day for me with ease. So like a lot of positives about the phone, about this phone, and also the price range. Like it's definitely pretty good comparing to some of the other kind of like a mid-range phone within this budget. So now let's talk about the things to improve. So the first one is like since I finished on the books, I'm gonna start with the books. So like the languages here which are supported, there are like few languages, and obviously I listened that in English, and I can see that English pronunciation is just sometimes not great.
The truth that they themselves are makers of textbooks by virtue of the fonts.
So it feels very robotic and sometimes just cuts off in like some weird kind of ways in a sentence. So yeah, that's something which I think should be, you know, improved. But the cool thing is that, you know, you can actually listen to it and read it at the same time. Look.
Both of the inner garment of character and the outer garment.
And for those of you who know, like if you actually read and listen at the same time, you can actually speed up your reading speed. So this is a cool one. That's something which I did, and I do like it. I do enjoy it. I think it's a pretty cool direction that they're going. They just have a few things to improve here. There is also a way for the AI podcast, which like if you actually kind of set it up with your TCL account, you can also do that. That's something which, you know, I think is pretty cool. So one other thing, like what I saw a main difference from the 60 Ultra, which I was previously using, that there is an audiobook and there is also the AI podcast. So yeah, that is a new feature from what I see, and definitely worth looking into. And also with that AI podcast, you have an option to literally like listen to the, you know, podcast right here based on the book that is actually there. It's decent. I did kind of listen to one or two. It's okay. Literally, it's not too great, but it's not bad either. So don't get me wrong. So few other things that I definitely want to cover on the negative side. So one thing which I kind of checked is, you know, setting up the button. So like, for example, for me, having a side button option and actually having some features which I can actually set it up with the power key, like it's important. I like to set for either a flashlight or some other options that I want to open. And right now I can only do quickly open the camera, or end the call, or access digital assistant. Yeah, like I would prefer a little bit more quick gestures. Like that's something which, you know, it's not that great, but can be improved, you know. With the lock screen kind of gestures, you have like a lift to wake and double tap to wake. That's cool, that's decent. Like there's nothing too much of, you know, improvement there. And I think that is just good to kind of work with. So one of the things that I also liked, which I think it is pretty cool, is that you can do the RAM expansion up to 16 gig. So with that RAM expansion, you can kind of sacrifice your storage for RAM. It doesn't work perfectly, obviously, because it is, I wouldn't call it, it's, you know, it's a marketing thingy, because in general, it's using the dynamic optimization to boost that RAM capacity utilization literally. So it's kind of helping with the apps and the utilization of that RAM, but because it's only 8 gig RAM, yeah, it could have a little bit more, but like for the mid-range budget that's actually getting, it is very decent. It is very decent. All of those apps that are coming with the TCL AI, like text writing, smart voice, it's cool. One thing which I kind of don't like about it a little bit is that, you know, for example, with writing assistants, like I would prefer to have some maybe Google integration. So that's something which for me is like, that'll be nice. But except that, there's not many things that I see kind of bad on this phone. Like I use it for a while now, And like I actually see much more positives than the negatives, and it does make sense, like especially this is, as I mentioned, it's a mid-range phone, right? So like there is nothing too fancy about it, and it has only, you know, 2 cameras at the back. It's not like the Ultra which has 3 cameras at the back, but like for the price point that it's having, it's pretty good bargain. Like it's pretty hard to find something that's, you know, it's similar spec and it also has that capability for that you know, eye function. So my honest opinion, I do like it. I do like it very much. I think it's especially with that NXTPAPER technology, like NXTPAPER, it's the future, I think. And like I like that, you know, this is the company that's actually, you know, solving a real problem out there, because like blue light is a problem. Like it's a problem, it affects our sleep, affect our regeneration and stuff like that. So I like it. I like the direction they're actually going for. And thank you TCL for sending this originally to me. I do like it, and at some point I'm also gonna review that and compare it with the TCL 60 Ultra. See you later, and remember to like and subscribe to my channel.
MadTechTalk, tech so fly, breaking down gear, let's amplify. Sub like, don't miss a thing. Tech reviews with a little bling. We out for now, but stay tuned. More fire tech is dropping soon.